This is the March 7th meeting of the South Coast Air Quality Management District. This is the third tape, and we're leading off with WSPA.
Notice unlimited time given to Western States Petroleum. There's no barrier to that.
But again, the role of in-station diagnostics to catch problems post.
I have a question for staff. Would the GDFs be eligible, I guess, for going to the hearing board to get a variance if the testers aren't available, so they can still operate?
Yes, they would.
Now that Western States Petroleum has finished snowing the board, British Petroleum steps up to join the chorus, thanking the board for their kind consideration.
In support of the comments made by Western States Petroleum Association, we share the goal of staff for a smooth implementation, and we are very supportive of several new provisions in the proposed rule. But we are concerned about a few issues that may get in the way of a smooth EVR2 implementation here in the basin, and we approach, as we approach the deadline of April 2009. As mentioned before, WSPA sent a letter to you on Wednesday, but WSPA has been having discussions with your staff as late as yesterday. As a result of that came this green errata sheet, and we're very pleased with these additional changes. We urge the board to adopt those.
People breathing the air in the basin don't have time and they're working. They don't have time to go to these things. They don't have time to lobby staff, but Western States Petroleum and British Petroleum are right there talking to staff as late as yesterday, successfully implementing changes to the rule to suit their business plan. As an example, I told them, I drove
from Seal Beach in an electric car, which is powered by charging overnight using credits for my daytime production of excess solar electric. We power 2 electric cars this way. WSPA, the Western States Petroleum. I'm glad to see that the staff is on such good terms with WSPA. But let's call it what it is. It's the oil lobby. Big oil and the oil lobby, and they've been lobbying staff and they've been lobbying the board, and evidently they've been getting their way. It's called EVPB. You buy an electric car and then you can pay for your solar system because you can use the money you used to spend on gasoline to charge up your car. Now, that if it hadn't been for the oil lobby, big oil, we would all have electric cars. In the 1990s, the oil lobby fought against you. Yes, they were up before CARB and they were before this board, arguing against electric cars. And they eventually managed to kill it. Now, staff is presented with an impossible problem. They're asked to control millions of pounds of pollution, but they're only giving tools to deal with a sand lot. And we've got thousands of tons of pollution entering the atmosphere from not just this gasoline emissions and vapor, but from the refineries that's necessary to produce the gasoline that is necessary for the cars. Now, we need to move away.
Could you address the rule before us?
I am doing that, sir. We need to move away from irrelevant rules such as this. Rules that make no sense. They're a feel-good solution that make no essential difference to the big problem of refinery pollution, gasoline production, and the air pollution incumbent upon driving cars all day long. The only reason we don't have more electric cars on the road, we only have the 1,400 electric cars that were not crushed. The only reason we don't have any more cars is because the board's been occupying its time with flaccid articles like this, irrelevant schmoozing with the oil lobby, and failure to regulate refineries and failure to promote electric cars. Why aren't there more electric cars? Because you haven't been doing your job. We need to look at new paradigms for dealing with not only global warming, but the nightly pollution of refineries to the children of Wilmington. I mean, it is awful. Go down there at 12 o'clock at night and see what they're up against.
Now a word of wisdom from Supervisor Yates. He obviously, the board doesn't have a lot of things that they can do. They're up against this rule that they're being presented with. They can't go back and say, well, we don't want to do this rule. We want to actually do something real. We want to go against the refineries. But at least here's a word of truth from Supervisor.
Objective is to sell gasoline. And any rule that would interrupt the flow of gasoline costs the refineries money. think the franchisees, of course, obviously looking at the rule, didn't take my suggestion that we go after the folks that produce the gasoline and hold them responsible for any excess emissions or anybody that doesn't comply. Then we go after the refineries. But evidently my recommendations didn't go along with that. We've made enough concessions to WSPA. I know WSPA very well from the years I've been on this board. The more concessions we give WSPA, then they come up with new concessions that they want. So I would move, Mr. Chairman, that we adopt the rule with the amendment of the 10 days.